Welcome back to another Union Arena Deck Tech, and today we're switching up things where the interviewer becomes the interviewee. What? We're taking a deep dive into the big Briggs Blue Deck from the new Full Metal Alchemist set. And joining us to break it down is the ever insightful ProDmJoey. Joey, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Awesome. So this deck is all about combining your double AP cards with your side card called Fort Briggs, which plays out other cards at a reduced cost or even for free. The high-end cards pack a punch with damage to an impact, setting up the game-winning finish. Let's see how it all comes together. So Joey, let's kick it off with some basics. Explain to us the key gameplay and how the step-by-step goes with this deck.
So, Big Briggs Energy is a deck that is really trying to reward you for having explosive turns with many great big threats that your opponent will struggle with trying to face and beat. It is a deck that really rewards you for the AP draw and knowing how to manage all of your APs, considering there are so many cards that on the surface have double AP cards. But if you can play your turns properly, it really does turn into a combo explosive deck that causes your opponent to make unfavorable blocks or die.
Wow. So would you say it is more of an aggressive or a controlling deck or something entirely different?
I would say it's more of a mid-range combo deck than anything else.
Got it. And what kind of player do you think would enjoy piloting this deck?
Anybody who likes to play things that go big over the top and do very fancy things. Somebody who likes to goldfish to learn and pilot their deck and wants to be rewarded for knowledge of their deck will love this type of gameplay.
That's amazing. And when you're playing this deck, what's the main game plan you have facing against some of the bigger meta decks?
So I started, playtesting this deck 2 months ago, and I ended up playing against real people for some of the first times today, earlier at the shop that I was at. And the game plan was always very simple. Set up your front line with Buccaneers that are discounted, raid an Olivier, untap all of them, and ditch whatever cards you can to make yourself have multi-attack. That's it. You're trying to make sure you get explosive attacks with many big bodies.
Oh, wow. And those Buccaneers are double damage, right?
The Buccaneer is not the double damage card, but it has a discount rate, which makes it fantastic.
Got it. All right, let's dive into your playset, your decks. What are the ratios like? What are the numbers like?
So this deck has a very good curve to it. I'm only playing 11 of the zeros because there's not really that many one drops that you're going to be rewarded for playing. I've put every single Briggs affinity card into the deck. You cannot possibly play more Briggs, but with that being said, you do have to fill it with some other cards as well. Louis is a 0-drop 2K with an active trigger. Easy enough to fit him in right there. But on the curve, you get to start going up with Olivier, the 1-drop. Now, we have mixed feelings on this. 1-drop searchers, I like them in decks that are trying to do big combo-y things. But if you're not trying to achieve a big combo, searchers kind of feel, not that great. But in this deck, it is fantastic. It allows you to curve into your double energy 2-drop. It allows you to curve into your big combo pieces. It can find you your threats. It can find your Olivias. And in this deck, it is far more important to find your combo than even finding your special in most situations.
Wow. And then after hearing all of that, which card would you think stabilizes your entire deck and helps you push your strategy forward?
The biggest stabilizer in the deck is the 5/2 Louis. Now, he does not have the Briggs affinity, which is very sad. And if you've seen the anime, you understand why. He's not a part of Briggs. However, he is a 2 AP card, which synergizes with the rest of the deck that has their 2 AP synergies inside of it. And he is a 4.5k double damager. If that wasn't enough,
Wow.
it is a must-answer threat because of its next line of text. Once per turn, when this character wins a battle by attacking, draw 2 cards. Meaning, my big scary double damager that you are chump blocking is netting me card advantage. This is a brick wall against so many decks, especially decks that rely on the blue 4-drop bouncer cards. He's a 4.5. He doesn't get bounced by any of those. And he has to eat a special, which means you can save your Olivias later on. And Olivia is a terrifying threat, but not a stabilizer. She's a threat in this deck.
Awesome. So your game plan is to use your Louis as early game kind of like blockers, or also to swing damage, but get draw advantage so you can get your Olivier in for that late game finish.
Yes. And you'll see why Olivier is such a ridiculous card. So she is a very unique card. When you raid her, you set all of your Briggs characters to active. All Briggs to active, including the site that has the affinity for it. So if you've set up a turn where you went, here's a Buccaneer on the front, here's a Buccaneer on the front, raid Olivia, untap both Buccaneers. Now, that by itself would be a really strong card, but not enough to really warrant me wanting to play a 6-drop, right? In this meta where we are being hazed by Totos and everything else such as that, it's very difficult to play 6.
Yep.
But her when attacking, you can sideline any card in your hand in order to restand a card that has an original 2 AP cost. That means if I already had Louis in play, I then swing with my Olivier, I restand Louis, and I swing again. That is 2 attacks with double damage. I'm drawing 2 cards, right? You're going to give me 2 cards, or you're taking 4, and I'm okay with that. I'm a multi-attack spamming deck with Olivier.
Wow, oh my god, that is very scary to face. I'm just like trying to think about it with the decks I play, and I'm just like, how would I even combat that? That
good luck, triggers.
Very, I know. Yeah, triggers is something we hope for.
Yeah.
So for your Buccaneers and your Olivier and your Louis, how many are you running? What are your ratios?
So in this deck, I have maxed out all of the Briggs. So Buccaneer, he's a 4 of. You need to run 4 of him. He is printed 2 AP for a card. However, if you are ever in a situation where you have 3 Briggs on play, oh wow, I wonder if that's a thing you can do in the Briggs deck. He only costs 1 AP.
Wow. So you need 3 other Briggs for his cost to be reduced?
Yep, only 3 in play. And he's a 4-drop 4K on top of that. Now, the reason that he's going to always stay as a 4 of is because he's really only a 1-drop, but you get to restand him with Olivier, you get to slam in, and when you need to push for the final points of damage, Buccaneer is probably one of the best threats. He has an active main where you can give this character plus 1000 BP and impact until the end of your opponent's next attack step. However, at the end of that attack step, you then have to sideline this character and draw a card. So if your opponent's pushing down on you with a whole bunch of 4Ks and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to push for extra damage. I'm going to swing in my Buccaneer, swing with my Olivier, restand Buccaneer, swing again. It's impact on both of those. You're taking 2 damage. And then next turn, I can profitably block with him, saving myself life and still drawing an extra card afterwards. He is amazing. He is the #1 most kill card in the deck if you're not killing Olivier and if you're not killing Louis. So yay.
Of course.
And Louis is a 4 of because, again, he is just one of the biggest easy threats to play in the game. I know a lot of people are scared of double AP cards, but this deck has multiple cards in it that give you discounts on your AP. So some of the time, about half of the time, you can play him as a single AP card because of other things that you get to do inside of it as well. So all of these are 4 ofs other than the Edward and the 0-drop. Everything is a 4 of.
Got it. And then I do see you're playing Edward, and might I say, I really like the alt art.
Oh yeah.
Explain to me how does he fit into this deck?
So I've learned while I'm playing this deck that there's two different things that you can slot into this spot. There's the 2-drop Alex Louis Armstrong, who is a 3K single energy producer that draws a card and sidelines a card when you play him, and he has an active trigger. The other option is this Edward. The reason I like this Edward is if your opponent is ever wanting to take a risky turn where they're like, I'm going to take 4 damage from your Louis attacks, you are ecstatic. And this card then reads, all right, I'm going to be able to discard cards to give him impact whenever I need him to finish out the game. And if you're not threatening me enough, you're playing a deck that's not going to allow me to lose any of my life, Saitama, things like that, where you're just stalling the game and you're like, I'm not giving you life triggers. I can just pay a life myself and add that life to my hand to play him and have him come in standing. Another fast threat smashing into my opponent. Now, most of the time, I discard this card when I'm playing Olivier or my looter. Yeah, he's good when he's great, but I don't value the card enough to keep him over any of my combo pieces that allow me to go off. He is a fantastic card, though. Very good threat. Get yourself the old arts. They look fantastic.
Got it. Okay, since we've gone through the entire deck profile, let's go into a little bit of the matchups and how it fits into the current meta. Where do you think this fits, and what decks do you think this would excel against?
So, I think this deck has 2 poor matchups in our current meta. The first matchup is the high roll multi-attack decks. Blue Ichigo is going to probably be very good against this deck. Blue Ichigos always have their Getsugas, which means they can always discard that card to their Ichigo raids, making them 5Ks. Louis does not profitably block 5Ks. And if your opponent is able to lock him down permanently with a Rukia, that is the one situation where you need to prioritize getting your special over getting another threat into play. However, in those matchups, it does suffer a little bit. But in most other matchups I've tested against, including against Shikigamis and very aggressive decks, this has done fantastically. It is so easy for you to have these large explosive turns, and the triggers are fantastic in this deck. We're running 8 cards with no triggers, but we have a lot of active triggers, 3, 4, I think 7 of them. We can actually look on Experts. Let's look at that. Yeah, we have 11 active triggers, 7 draw, 8 get, 4 raid, 4 color, 4 special, 4 final. So we have plenty of ways to restand and be able to block against any normal aggro deck outside of that. I will point out one other poor matchup for this, and that's Todo. Todo is a very poor matchup for a deck that likes seeing Fort Briggs in play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the Mekamaru raid gets rid of sides, and ideally you're playing the side by spending 2 AP, whether discounted or not, right? So it can feel kind of hurt when the Mekamaru raid just gets rid of your side.
Yeah, it says, oh no, we're going to blow that up. Or they, even worse yet, they go, I'm going to raid Todo, push your Louis to the back line, and pull your Miles to the front line. He's a double energy producer, so I'm just like, oh, I guess I have to chump block with this nerd. Great. It's a poor matchup, sadly.
Your ceiling is 6 energy, right?
Yes, you stop at 6.
Yeah. You stop at 6. Got it.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how it fits into the meta. Do you think that this tech is a potential sleeper pick, or is it poised to be a top contender in the meta? Maybe see it at regionals? Question mark.
I think this is one of those combo decks that you are very highly rewarded for playing, much like One Punch Man's sisters, Tornado, and the other one, I always forget her name. Blizzard. Those 2 sisters, that is a combo deck through and through. This is also a combo deck, but it's a combo deck that goes bigger. So if you're willing to put in the reps and really learn this deck, I think it'll be able to contend with the majority of the meta that we are dealing with. A good Briggs player is going to be as terrifying to sit across from as a good specified slots player. They are just somebody you don't want to deal with and you don't anticipate dealing with, and it's really difficult to win that matchup unless you've practiced it through and through. Not to mention, if you just want to gamba and high roll, This deck has one of the best high rolls in the entire game.
I can see.
Turn 4, I have attacked with 2 Buccaneers, 2 Louis attacks from 1 Louis, and an Olivier. Turn 4. Yeah. I don't know how you're beating that without life triggers. Like, that's just...
No, I know.
It's absurd.
Any deck with less than 30 triggers, God help you.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
Oh, yeah. And blue color trigger does not exist against this deck.
I know.
4K, yep. 4.5, 4K, 4K. Blue color, whatever. UG bounce, can't bounce this Louis. He's a 4.5.
Yep. I know. Wow. This is a deck I might build. I'm building some FMA decks currently, and I think I've just put this on my list of things to build. Anyways, to wrap things up, for those looking to try out the Big Briggs for the first time, what's the most important thing that you think they should understand?
I think they should understand that this is not a deck that you simply pick up and then instantly begin winning with. It is a deck that has a slightly higher skill floor to it, even though at the end of the day, you're playing big dumb idiots that attack multiple times. Once you put in the reps with the deck, you start seeing all of the lines, you're realizing how AP drawing, even though you don't technically need to, can be very beneficial in this deck just to have those larger explosive turns that turns the tide of your entire engagement with your opponent. I think you need to be patient while learning this deck, and then you will realize exactly what makes it so strong and so good.
And if we do get a Volume 2 FMA, what card would be on your wish list to be added to this deck?
Volume 2. I would really like to see a Briggs Edward, as he was stationed there temporarily. I think that would be fantastic. Or even add in another homunculus, or not homunculus. Give us a Kimli. A Kimli would make a fantastic addition to this deck, even if it's not a Briggs affinity. Just a card that has a lot of good control elements that can blow things up that are smaller. That would be fantastic and flavorful.
Of course, agreed. He was hoping to Volume 2 of FMA. A huge thank you, Joey, for joining us today and sharing your insight on the Big Briggs and Big Briggs deck. I'm super excited. I honestly am looking at the cards and I'm like, Joey is definitely cooking. He is definitely cooking something.
Chef's kiss.
Let our viewers know where they can connect with you and follow all your content.
So I am ProDmJoey. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on the YouTubes. You can find me down in the description below, or in any of the UA servers that are dealing with all of this. And you'll find me in Rumble Ramba more times than not.
Thank you so much, Joey. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We hope you like this tech. We'll be back again. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.
Bye.